Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Tracy's Week in Review. I am sorry, I got something in my eye there. I am so happy to be back with you all after my 1 week hiatus. Thank you all for joining. And as usual, I always start off this show with telling you how many days it is until the NFL season kicks off. So let me see here, and we'll tell you that here in just a moment. How many days until y'all? It's getting to be a respectable number. There, there are 53 days to go. 53 days to go. Y'all know what that means. It is 53 days until the NFL season starts. You all know I did this show just to kind of keep me um kind of steady until the season comes here. Or 53 days until September the 4th. I have thought about, and I probably will do some type of special on the 4th. That's when the Dallas Cowboys will play the defending Super Bowl champion, the Philadelphia Eagles. That game will most likely be on NBC, probably around, I say 8:30. I don't know. They haven't well, no, they have released the schedule. I'm sorry, the schedules have been released. That's how I know who's playing. Um, so 53 days until that day comes. I'm excited. Of course, you know, I'm looking forward to December the 22nd when I will be going to Lucas Oil Stadium to see my team, the San Francisco 49ers versus the Indianapolis Colts. Um, I'm really excited that there's 53 days to go. So when is the Hall of Fame game? And oh, this is gonna make me even happier. So mark your calendars, boys and girls. Here we go. Um, Thursday, July 31st, which is 18 days away, I believe. The Hall of Fame game will come on television. I don't know where it will be. Oh, it'll be the Detroit Lions and Los Angeles Chargers. So we're getting closer. We're getting closer to that time. But before I get into my weekend review, I want to talk about pay some bills first, and we'll start off with that. Subscribe to this channel. Subscribe. Hit that subscribe button. I'm at 375 right now. Um, of course, I want to make 1,000 the goal this year. I think if we can get some more, it may drag and drag like last year, but I'm still shooting for 1,000. We are 625 away. So hit that subscribe button. You can also support me on Patreon. Patreon support, now that I have it figured out, starts at less than a dime a day, 7 cents per day if it's a 28-day month, which every month has 28 days. So save 7 cents every day for 28 days, and you can support me on Patreon. Patreon support helps me to get new lights, and y'all, I'm getting real creative about my lighting since it went out yesterday. So I would appreciate your support on Patreon. Visit the official merchandise store. I said there was going to be a giveaway today, and there will not be. I will not be doing a giveaway on this show. I may do it on the Saturday show, but visit my official merchandise store at Bonfire. You can get t-shirts and hoodies right now, and then hopefully we'll open it up to coffee mugs and those type of things. Still looking for that follower on Rumble so that we can podcast on there live. I did not put my Blue Sky, but we are there also. Help us to get 75 likes and 45 shares. If you like this video. That helps me in the algorithm. And of course, sharing this video with your friends on your social media platforms always helps. And finally, I will have a big personal announcement that I am very, very happy. I've been working on this on and off for like at least the past 5 to 6 years, and um, announcing it is going to help me to accomplish it. So stay tuned for that. So, what are we going to talk about? I'm going to try not to make this show very long. Oh, that water is good. But I want to talk about now. I know people are going to say, you're talking about the big, beautiful bill already passed. Well, I wasn't here last week. So I had to talk about my perspective of the big, beautiful bill being signed into law. Elon Musk is starting a new party. Mexico steps in where FEMA won't step in. Those are the 3 things. And of course, my big announcement would be the 4th. So let's start off with Mexico stepping in. Before I get started, if you're out there, I know some of you come in a little later. Let me know. Come hit in the comment section. Just type your name and hello. I'd appreciate it. But let's talk about Mexico stepping in where FEMA won't. So unless you lived under a rock, there were, and there still are, well, there have been flooding issues in Texas due to the rain that they got in central Texas. And the death toll, unfortunately, is up to 100. And what makes this significant is this, and I may have made this point on a previous podcast, but if I did, oh well. This literally could have been avoided. The National Weather Service got cut by 600 workers, and they have weather balloons that will go up and tell you, oh, this may happen, and they communicate through computer stuff that I don't know too much about, but they have the ability to tell, predict like floodings and maybe tornadoes, not necessarily earthquakes, but they can predict those type of things. And ideally what happens is if you know it's going to happen, then you can give those communities time to evacuate. Or the governor could have did a mandatory evacuation order and literally save those people. But because that service got cut by Doge, that doesn't exist. So this whole thing could have been avoided in that manner. And then on top of that, you have Kristi Noem, I think it's Kristi Noem, saying that, she wants to see FEMA cut. I don't know why you would say this after a devastation like what's happening in Central Texas, but apparently MAGA gives no cares about anybody. Why? How evil do you have to be to say, you know what? Nah, we're not going to help you. We're just going to watch. Sure, we'll just watch those waters come in and we'll watch them destroy you. But it doesn't matter. Who says, oh, we're going to cut FEMA in the middle of this happening? And you announce it like people are going to clap for this? Like, I want to get the article out here first before I cutting FEMA. Agency. Because I'm trying to find it, because y'all know I don't do screen shares anymore. Okay, so yes, so here it is. So in a Google search, I just typed in, is FEMA being cut? And the answer is yes. The Federal Emergency Management Agency, or FEMA, is facing significant cuts and potential restructuring under the current administration. The Trump administration has proposed significant changes, including potential elimination of the agency. Oh yeah, that works. Yeah, that's a brilliant idea, and has already implemented cuts of staff and grant programs. Um, FEMA, as I was talking about, has already experienced substantial staff reductions, while some reports indicate a loss around 1/3 of permanent workforce since the beginning of the Trump administration. They also have grant program cuts, which could indicate, now this one is significant. There have been cuts to various grant programs administered by FEMA, which could impact states and localities seeking assistance for disaster recovery and migration. Again, the Trump administration and Trump himself has publicly discussed the possibility of eliminating FEMA entirely, with a focus on disaster response coming from the state level. Now, let me tell you why that's a stupid idea, right? If it comes from the state and a natural disaster happens, or just flooding, or a tornado, or an earthquake, or a fire, that state, unless they're a super rich state, does not have the resources to do this. The type of assistance that FEMA can provide, states cannot take on that load. And by cutting it and focusing on the state level, that's going to put more pressure on states like Indiana that are already cutting services. And I can't imagine under any circumstance where any state, California, North Carolina, South Carolina, Texas, whatever state, is going to have that money to step in where there's a natural disaster. Um, um, I, I don't even know why this is being said, but the fact that they're so embracing that they can literally out loud say this while you have flooding in Central Texas is um it's just it just um it bewilders me, right? It confuses me because this says here that many states, including Texas, are heavily reliant on FEMA for disaster response and recovery, and some have expressed concerns about their ability to handle the responsibilities of FEMA if it were to be significantly reduced or eliminated. And we shouldn't even, I mean, it just it just goes without saying that this is just plain evil. I can't even describe it as anything else. It is evil that when people experiencing destruction and death and pestilence and flooding issues and water drinking issues, think about what the survivors have to go through Texas. They can't drink that water. They can't bathe in that water. They can't do anything but evacuate, right? The destruction of property. States don't have the ability to meet those needs. And the administration knows this, right? They know that the states don't have the ability to do it. So, you know what they do? Cut it. We don't need it. But hey, let's give Israel all the money that they need. As big as a MMTer as I am, because I do believe in monetary theory, something is wrong when it's like we're prioritizing the money that they create. It's like going to all the wrong places. Like all resources, they should be going to California to help them with the wildfires. They should be going to Texas to help them with the central flooding. In North Carolina, they had a disaster happen. Disasters can happen anytime. Where would the states get the money to respond to this? Where? You're going to raise taxes? Some states don't. Some states don't have property tax. We do. Some states don't have sales tax, like Florida, Minnesota. They don't even have sales tax. So now you have to sit here and figure out, well, where is this money going to come from? Because at the local level, your tax money literally is going. And I don't know. I don't know how they could just say this out loud. It just, I'm trying to find the link to see. Um, I'm trying to find the link to if people want to make donations, which is another thing we should not have to be doing. This is literally where FEMA needs to step in and step up, but because they won't, um, I'm going to put this in the link. No, wait a minute. I'm going to just put this in the link. We shouldn't even be asking people, hey, donate to this link because FEMA isn't doing their job. Okay, donate. I cannot spell today. Okay, so if you're interested in making a donation, this is the only organization I know of. They helped me and my mom when our place got flooded. They paid for us to be in a shelter. They paid for me to get a car. So to get my car repaired because it was damaged by flooding. Absolutely. So trust this organization. So you can go to redcross.org and make your donation of any amount. I'm sure they would appreciate it. But we shouldn't even have to be doing this, right? Our federal government has the ability to print money to assist these people. And we're not doing it. This nitwit, because that's the only nicest word I can come up with, is talking about eliminating FEMA. Why? Why put it at the state level? You know that the states don't have the level of expertise to handle something like this, right? You have to know, he would have to know it, right? It just, oh my goodness. And it just, this is what we voted for, right? Unfortunately, he won. And I'm trying to find this where Kristi Noem says cut FEMA. And she lied to me. He wants to remake it. He literally said out of his mouth he wants to eliminate it. So Noam defends FEMA's response. So I'm kind of moving into Mexico is responding where FEMA doesn't. There are reports on the ground that FEMA is not responding. Of course they can't respond because y'all nitwits cut it. And so Mexico, let me see. Let me put this way. So more than 24 Mexicans came to Central Texas to help with recovery efforts after the July 4th flood. Firefighters and Mountain Home Fire Departments worked with the teams for 6 days, searched for missing people in the Guadalupe River. So they also sent some other help. This is according to Newsweek. And again, y'all know I don't share my screens anymore because Facebook be like, don't share your screen. Mexico has sent water rescue teams and firefighters to help in Texas after the holiday weekend floods that have killed at least 100 people, with many more still missing. Members of Mexico's Civil Protection Water Rescue Team and Cure Fire, oh my goodness, take that off. Members of Mexico's Civil Protection Water Rescue and Cure firefighters were among those helping the search efforts in Kerr County, Mexico, government officials said in a Facebook post. 9 members of the water rescue team and 4 members of the nonprofit organization Foundation 911 have traveled to Texas on Sunday morning, said the post by Dirección de Protección Civil. That's in Spanish, and my Spanish is terrible. And FEMA's response to this, and that's why I call this Mexico response when FEMA doesn't. FEMA has not done a good job in responding to. I mean, I've had problems with FEMA since way, way back in the day when George W. Bush, when they had those hurricanes in New Orleans, and he just kind of flew over and didn't land on the ground. FEMA's response to national disasters has not been good, and it's just gotten significantly worse and worse and worse. Like I said, there should be no reason why I'm telling you, hey, go donate to the Red Cross, because our government can't and won't, and then calls for the cuts. That's just, yeah. If that is by itself can't make you at least register to vote. Oh, I got Nelson checking in. Hello, Nelson. It is beneficial to the millionaires to privatize everything and anything that is a human right and government accessible. That way they can control where and whom gets the benefit. More for the rich. Exactly. And that is the disgusting thing. When she lies out of her face and says, oh, he wants to reimagine it. Yeah, he want to cut it. Just like the Department of Education, just like it's just let private organizations have everything. And it does not work. There's no situation where a public entity should be managing something that's a public entity. I said it last night. People shouldn't be getting utility bills. That's a public thing that the government should be managing, not some private company. And this is the same. Making FEMA privatized or giving it to states is a huge mistake. And it's gonna get worse. Because unfortunately, California is probably gonna have another fire. I hate to say it, but they have fire season. That's what they call it. I don't live in California, and I hope I'm wrong, but there's going to be a disaster somewhere. And if this is the type of response where people are calling FEMA and they can't get a response, and they're getting recordings, and they're not getting food, and they're not getting shelter, then what do we do? It's going to be up to the community through mutual aid projects to help with this, right? And that's the ultimate sad part about this. It's now that we have to do it. And it's not saying we're not charitable and we don't want to help. But again, these people in Texas, whether they're MAGA or not MAGA, they're minis, they're shorties, or whatever you want to call them, they don't deserve to have a federal agency that can't respond to them. Again, it's not that we don't want to help. Of course, Americans are always going to help. That's what we do. But when you start talking about these massive cuts, you've got to start questioning, why is some of y'all voting for this foolishness? It's some of you all that went into the polls and said, you know what? Bump Dr. West. I ain't got to vote for him. What I'm going to vote for Trump because he's pro-peace, which he is not. And he's going to get our government back on track, which he has not. This is what you get. And you have the Democrats moving more towards the right. Yeah, because I got smoke for y'all too, Democrats. You have both parties moving towards the right and getting more right in terms of restricting services, cutting back government. I'm surprised that they haven't, what they could do at a state level, which I doubt it because Texas is a red state, is give those people some temporary SNAP benefits. I don't know anybody in Texas. I would hope they would do something like that, but I doubt it'll happen because Texas is a red state. And you have these lunatic governors, i.e., Brom in Indiana, that just want to cut everything and privatize everything and just say, we don't need it. And when disasters like this happen in Central Texas or California or North Carolina or Louisiana, or heck, Indiana, we had a storm, and my basement was flooded. Not to, I mean, I can still live here, but this is, I don't want to say this is where our tax monies go, because I believe in MMT. We can just print money and just get these things taken care of. We have literally two parties that don't care. They don't care. Just suffer. Just, hey, lose your family. Oh, well. Means tested, make you fill out all these forms. And it's a shame. It's a shame that people get hoodwinked, because that's the best thing I can say. They get hoodwinked by these fake promises that Trump made. I could have told you this. Conservatives have been talking about years about cutting the size of government. And then when things like this happen in Texas, or when things like this happen in California, then citizens are asking, well, where's the government? Well, you cut everything. You can't have it both ways. Oh, hello, thieves. People gave up on the system, so the system is running without regard to people. We are in consequences. Exactly. We're in consequences. And it's like my heart aches for the people in Texas that have been lost. One, it could have literally been prevented by not cutting the National Weather Service. Like, dude, all you had to do was, keep those weather balloons up there so that warnings could have went out and the governor could have ordered an evacuation. But hey, that's just me. And then your response is so terrible. Maybe the public putting pressure on them would get a better response, but this should not be happening. And we need to make noise about, we need to keep FEMA. It needs to, first of all, we need to hire the people back that got their jobs released. That's the first thing we need to do. Second thing we need to do is give them more money, because with our wacky weather systems, we're going to have these things kind of pop off all over the country. If we didn't treat the environment like trash, we wouldn't have some of these things happening that we have. Right? And so we need to look at that. Then we need to look at who these people are giving money to these politicians. Nobody sits here with a heart that says, you know what? Screw them seniors. Let's cut their Social Security. They're not doing nothing with it anyway. They can live off of $1,200 a month. Sure, rent is $2,500 a month. So people hate taxes and avoid taxes, then wonder where the services. This is the show enough truth. This statement right here is the absolute truth. People hate taxes and avoid taxes, then wonder where the services paid for by taxes are. Conservative logic is crazy, and liberal logic is lazy. Boy, if I could put a star on your forehead, that is the truth. We didn't vote for this. Yeah, that is what you voted for. You exactly went into the polls and voted for a guy that said, I'm going to cut government. You should have figured out that government services were going to go along with it. He told you what he was going to do. And you said, okay, as long as it don't affect me, I'm okay with it. Now it's affecting you. You want to cry on YouTube and TikTok. I didn't vote for this. Yeah, you did. You went right in there and said, as long as it affects Black and brown people, don't affect me. And now it's hitting you. Now you're going to learn. I ain't one of these, well, yeah, and I am a told you so person, because I literally told you so. He told you what he was going to do. He literally said what he was going to do. Oh, and ICE gets all this money. ICE gets all this money. Yeah, I'm getting back to the big beautiful bill, whatever it's called. Um, really? This isn't even a reconciliation bill. This is not even a reconciliation bill. This is, I don't know, but like all this money for ICE. I'm not even going to talk about Alligator Alley, because I would literally get upset and start fighting. And y'all know I don't cuss, but when I heard that there was a concentration camp, that's what I'm gonna call it, with people in it, and they had alligator. Oh my goodness! I like, Lord, please hold my mouth, cause I'm about to go off on this one. This don't make no sense, but I don't. I don't want to be that person. And I said, literally, just said, I'm a told you so person, because we literally told you so. This, I hope, opens people's eyes open to see when a D politician, when a team red and team blue promise you something, you got to know when to believe them and when not. Right? Trump told you what he was going to do. I'm saying it again. Trump told you what he was going to do. We just thought, oh, well, he just lied. Well, I didn't vote for Trump. So, you know me. I knew he was going to do. I didn't think it would go this far. And that I was wrong about. But everything else, I'm like, yep. I mean, it was literally written in Project 2025. I know, but see, I'm not going to be like the Democrats and just say, well, Project 2025 is dangerous and never have a plan to combat it. That I ain't going to do. Because like, where's y'all plan to like, where's y'all Project 2025? Nope, we're not going to get nothing. We going to talk about just how bad that is. Nope, not going to do it. Won't do it. But it just amazes me. Like I said, you had that exactly right. We say we're taxed too much, and then when services are needed, well, where's the tax money going? Well, how to see it don't work like that, especially if FEMA is eliminated and this is put on a state level. Your taxes are going to go up. I mean, up, and up. Because state, like I said before, states can't do what FEMA does. FEMA has resources that state governments right now are not set up to do. Maybe a California, maybe a Texas, and I'm saying maybe, and I'm like, I don't think they have it. I don't think any state has the resources to do what FEMA does. Now that ICE has all the money, they will be hiring people to do the job. Who do you think is going to apply for the jobs? Mostly white supremacists. You know what? I didn't even think about that, Nelson. I didn't even think about that. Hey, Tim, check your email because you did not answer me. I sent you an email this morning and you did not answer, and I need an answer to what I sent you. Thank you. Big billionaires bill, right? So we have to watch these, you know, I'll say it like this, and then I'll move on to my next topic. We have to make these politicians accountable for what they do. And that means we've got to lay down like what we will vote for, what we won't vote for. And if we vote for that candidate, they get in office and they totally betray us. We can't be afraid to vote them out and say, you know what, you lied. Project 2025 had a clear hiring and recruitment plan, and they are following through. They are. They literally said, okay, we're going to do this, and this. Democrats, okay. Project 2025 is terrible. What you going to do about it? Like, at least, I'm a third-party voter, so I'm always going to vote for third parties because, like I said, I don't trust the two-party system. You could have at least said, now, they talking about cutting Medicare. We're going to expand it. We're going to increase the retirement age to 75 or something in that way. But you did nothing, and now we're supposed to listen to you. You can miss me. So that is topic number 1. So the next thing I want to talk about is the Epstein files. I don't want to spend a lot of time on this, but I probably will because it has greater implications in terms of like the political fallout and the social fallout. So I'm not going to go with what Jeffrey Epstein was accused of. We already know. When Trump was campaigning, he kept promising and promising and promising that he was going to do a full investigation on the reports and release the reports. And some of y'all, this is where he was lying. This is where he was lying. So you got to know what Trump like when he's lying and when he's telling the truth. Normally, about 90 to 95% of what he says out of his mouth is a lie. And these Epstein tapes or lists is a perfect example. Was there really an investigation of, and let me backtrack this. So it was alleged that Jeffrey Epstein kept a list of people that flew on his plane. And I think visited his island. That's part I'm not sure of. So let me see. I'm going to type it in so I can at least be I'm trying to figure out, okay. I don't want to see the fallout. I'm going to talk about the fallout. So it was one or the other. Either Epstein had a list of people that flew on his plane, or Epstein had a list of people that were on his island. And it was alleged, and Democrats, I want y'all to keep this in mind. Bill Clinton is on that list too, right? He on the list too. So don't be thinking you're gonna just skate. I'm gonna let you skate by because I won't. But it was alleged that Trump was on that list, that he flew on his plane several times, that he went to the island several times. As a matter of fact, Trump and Epstein, to my knowledge, were friends. When Epstein was arrested the second time, because remember the first time he got basically a slap on the wrist and he was arrested a second time and put in prison. Reports said that he unalived himself, and everybody called BS on that. And so the investigation was supposed to be about who's on the list and did Epstein unalive himself. That was supposed to be the investigation. Let me go to these first before I continue. It was a federal case that threatened the reputation of the wealthy guys across parties. All those records were going public if they went to trial, so Buddy had to go. Yeah, and so that's what the investigation stood. So it was Pam Bondi, who is over, what office does Pam Bondi hold? Pam Bondi is the secretary of something, and I forget. Pam Bondi. She's the attorney general, and Kash Patel is with the FBI. So they were supposed to investigate this. And yeah, here comes the funny part. So they and their investigators, they didn't even do like a Scooby-Doo investigation, right? They just basically said, hey, Epstein never had a list of people that either went to his island or rode on his plane. And that Epstein unalived himself. How stupid do you think we are? I don't even think MAGA supporters are this stupid. They can't be. I haven't heard any um MAGA, because unfortunately I have friends on Facebook. They are definitely MAGA. I know. Just say you can't believe it. Um, but there were reports that Clinton and Trump was on, and we know that Trump was friends with Epstein because he attended a lot of his parties that allegedly had underage young women. Right? I would say little girls, but that's just me using that vernacular. Um, but we know Clinton and Trump were friends with Epstein. Um, so yeah, they were. So those two I know, right? But the thing is, of course, he had a list. Epstein was known to blackmail people, and that's why he got that little slap on the wrist. He would blackmail them. And most likely he videotaped people having intercourse with underage girls and would probably use those to blackmail people. That's not a stretch, right? That's not me just sitting here saying, well, let me deduce this and come up with a wild conspiracy theory. No, that's perfectly logical that he would have a list. The guy was meticulous. He was also a piece of crap, but he was meticulous, right? He wasn't the kind of person that would not keep a list. And his assistant, the lady, I can't think of her name. Um, yeah, but like I said, you could say I'm doing conspiracy theories, but I do know that Trump was at those parties. There's videos that uh, Elon Musk dropped on his Twitter account that showed Trump at the parties, and I've seen those. But yeah, you could say it. But here's my question. So let's just say Trump's name wasn't on the list. Let's just say Trump's name wasn't on the list. It wasn't on there. Why just say there was no list? If your name isn't on there, oh well, release them all. Release them all. I don't care. My name ain't on it. Or he could have said, "Well, my name isn't on it, but other people I know was on it." That's a possibility. I'll give you that. But to sit here and think there's no list, that's her name. Guess Jesselyn Maxwell. She's the one that Trump has talked about pardoning. He says that she deserves a pardon. Now, I think because her case is federal, he can. Let me see, can he do it? Can Trump pardon Maxwell? I don't think he can. Okay, so I was exactly right. Um, no, Donald Trump cannot pardon Ghislaine Maxwell. Federal convictions only. The president's power to pardon is limited to federal offenses. Maxwell was convicted of federal crimes related to sex trafficking. Trump was not the sitting president at the time. The power to pardon rests solely on the sitting president. However, Maxwell and her legal team have appealed her conviction to the Supreme Court, arguing that she should have been shielded from prosecution by an agreement made between Jeffrey Epstein and federal prosecutors back in 2008. This argument was rejected by the federal appeals court, which stated the argument only applies to the Southern District of Florida and not New York, where Maxwell was prosecuted. The Supreme Court has the final say on this matter. So far, now we've eliminated that Trump can't partner. So, yeah, of course, he's going to say, well, you should partner. She was just there. Girl, bye. You was recruiting. You were convicted, not just me speculating, you were convicted of recruiting young girls. And when I say young girls, I'm talking young girls, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17 girls. not women in their 20s and 30s. This isn't I don't know that rapper's not P. Diddy, but it isn't that kind of thing where he was forcing. Yeah, and this is my other point. Trump can make federal government away, but I'm certain there are some state crimes out there. If the states won't give immunity, the park means very little. And she's in New York, and there's a Democrat sitting there. So Holcomb, who's the governor of New York, could probably partner, but that not gonna happen. So anyway, they released this report. They say there's no list. There's no list, and Epstein definitely unalived himself. And everybody is like, boy, girl, bye. Nobody believes this. Nobody is buying this. Nobody is sitting here like, yep, I believe him. And this is my larger context. We are just now finding out things about Dr. King's assassination decades after it happened. For example, I didn't know there was a delayed response to his assassination in terms of getting him medical care. I didn't know that. That was just released a few years ago, or not a few years ago, maybe like 10 to 15 years ago. We are learning things that the FBI hid. For example, the fact that they infiltrated the Black Panthers and assassinated Fred Hampton. The government is not out here saying, you know what, we killed this person, we unalived this person, this person, this person. They not doing that. That's not how they operate. We're learning things about Malcolm X's assassination we literally didn't know until we went to see the movie. We're like, oh, they wanted to kill him. Well, it makes sense, right? But when you're a child, like I was, and learning about Malcolm X, what did I learn about Malcolm X? He was anti-government. He was anti-militant. He was against the government. Yeah, he was us. I would say, yeah, probably, but what was he against, right? What did Epstein know? Why weren't the guards there? And that's a whole nother thing that we're not talking about. It's like I just want to read some articles here. I'm just going to read this from Axios just to kind of like push my point. So Axios says President Trump's Justice Department and FBI have concluded they have no evidence that convicted sex offender and disgraced financier Jeffrey Epstein blackmailed powerful figures. Yeah, right. Or kept a client list, or was murdered, according to the memo detailing the findings obtained by Axios. The administration is releasing a video in both raw and enhanced versions that indicates there was no one that entered the area of the Manhattan prison where Epstein was held the night he died in 2019. The video supports a medical examiner's finding that Epstein died by suicide or unalived himself. The 2-page memo explains. Notice the memo's only 2 pages. The findings represent the first time the Trump administration has officially contradicted conspiracy theories about Epstein's activities and his death. Theories that had been pushed by the FBI's 2 top officials before Trump appointed them to the Bureau. Remember, I said that when Trump was campaigning, he was saying, I'm going to release the files. So at some point, Trump did say there were files. So now, as this DOJ report saying that Trump lied, interesting to think about. So Patel and Mangio, or however that's pronounced. Wait a minute, hold on a second. Let me go backwards. As social media influencers and activists, Kash Patel, now the FBI's director, and Dan Bongino, now deputy director, were among those in the MAGA world who questioned the official version of how Epstein died. Keep that in mind. Patel was out here saying, yeah, there's files. There's definitely files. So Patel and Bongino have said that Epstein killed himself, but it has become an article of faith online, especially on the right, that Epstein's crimes also implicated government officials, celebrities, business leaders, and someone killed him to conceal them. The memo says no one was involved in the Epstein case would be charged. Epstein's associate, Christine Maxwell, is serving a 20-year sentence for child trafficking and alleged related offenses. According to the memo, investigators closely examined footage of Epstein's Manhattan prison cell between the hours of around 10:45 p.m. on August the 9th, when Epstein was locked in his cell around 6:30 a.m. the next day when he was found unresponsive. The footage, which was reviewed by Axios but couldn't be verified independently, show no one entered the area, the administration said. The FBI enhanced the relevant footage by increasing the contrast, balancing the color, and improving the sharpness for greater clarity and visibility, the memo says. Investigators found no incriminating client list of Epstein's, no credible evidence that Epstein blackmailed prominent individuals, and no evidence that could predicate an investigation against uncharged third parties, the memo says. MAGA ain't even buying this stuff. Like, MAGA is like, they even like, and they know something about this milk ain't white. I don't know about it. I hope the pressure stays on, because this is my spidey senses, my superpowers, my whatever it is, my gut says, I'm not buying no words of this report. And I would hope that there are investigative reporters out there still investigating, because it just sounds weird, right? He's in the cell. I think they said he unlived himself by tying a sheet, because I'm like, he couldn't have gotten a rope. But the guards were supposed to be watching him. Did they fall asleep? Or because you're supposed, when somebody's on suicide watch, whether they go to a hospital, somebody is outside their room checking in on them. I think it's like every half hour. They're checking on them at assigned times. So why was that time so, like, why was there that space of time, right? There's a lot of questions to be asked about this, but MAGA ain't even buying this. MAGA is like, nah, what, we don't believe this. We not buying this. And when MAGA doesn't buy it and Trump is talking about it, that's something. And Trump, of course, he's backing her now. There's even reports that Bondi could be on her way out. But she's only doing what Trump told her to do. Not to say she should stay in her job, I'm not saying that, but she's not doing this on her own, like, I gotta protect Trump somehow. If he's involved, look on my face, just look at my face. So, like I said, there's a ton of questions I have. And it would be interesting for me to see if MAGA's going to continue to put because I've seen TikTok videos where they're just going in. I'm like, dang, y'all actually speaking against y'all dear leader. You actually saying something against them? What? I'm trying to get. I'm trying to get. I want to get this. And in an interview on an interview at a meeting, Trump is saying, and I quote, "You're still talking about Jeffrey Epstein." Mr. Trump visibly exasperated, asked a reporter at a cabinet meeting on Tuesday, the day after the Justice Department released a memo concluding no further disclosure would be appropriate or warranted in the investigation. So now Trump is like on the ropes. MAGA's putting him on the ropes. I wonder what else is going to run. What else is going to happen out of that? So, last thing, I did not think I was going to be talking this long, y'all. But last thing, I got to talk about Elon Musk starting the America Party. Little boy, little man-child boy. Why? So, if you have been sitting under a rock, Elon Musk decided, um, see, I kind of disagree with this because it could be somebody that comes along be like, yep, I got it. But yeah, I see where you're going though. Um, so Elon Musk has decided to start another third party. And y'all know how I feel about third parties. I literally want every American to create a third party because the two that we got, they trifling. They just trifling. Here comes my problem with Elon's little America party. That's what it's called. It's called the America Party. So he created it because he felt like the Doge bill should not have increased funding. They should have definitely decreased Medicare funding, decreased Medicaid funding, decreased SNAP, just decrease. And he's upset about that. So I want to kind of read what I'm getting of this new party and tell you why I think it's a joke. Elon Musk creates a new party. um, I'm going to tell you what I think you should know about this party. Now, this is from PBS News. So, Elon Musk has said that he's formed a new political party, but it's unclear what steps, if any, he has taken to do so or how the effort might affect upcoming elections. Musk has not released additional information. Spokespeople for Musk and his political action committee, the America PAC, did not immediately comment Monday because this was just formed last Sunday. So the overall arching thing is he wants to primary people that voted for the big beautiful bill. So if you voted for it, Elon Musk wants to primary you in congressional seats. Whether he's going to take that to do anything in terms of running against Trump is unclear now, but in the immediary, he wants to at least primary those that voted for the big beautiful bill. Um it's again, it's called the America Party, and I'm going to quote Musk here: "To give you back your freedom." He teased in a move for days, threatening to make his own party if this insane spending bill passes Congress, which it did. He spent part of Sunday taking feedback from ex-users about the party, which he indicated could be used to get involved in the 2026 midterms. So this ain't all on the up and up and up. So let me tell you what's happened. So when you form a party, a third party, you have to go to the FEC. So the FEC says you have to have at least 14, maximum 20 candidates And this is to be recognized as a federal party. So you had to have at least up to minimum 14, maximum 20 candidates in different regions of the United States. And each of those candidates has to raise $5,000. Now, that part won't be a problem for Musk. He could just basically create a PAC and fund the 14 to 20 candidates, no problem. But there are no parties that have been formed according to the FEC. So I'll tell you what I mean by that. So the Federal Election Commission database has teamed with newly formed political entities that make references. There's none that makes reference to Musk or his companies. And there are no details about this party. There, you also, when you form a political party, again, you had to have the minimum 14, maximum 20. Each of those candidates has to raise $5,000. Again, money won't be a problem. It's Musk. He has billions. You also had to hold some sort of nomination committee. And that has to be done. And please, Tim, and please, Nelson, correct me if I'm wrong. That has to be done. The initial party forming has to be done before September. I think it has to be done by September. I don't know whether it's this year or next year. So not only do you have to identify 14 to 20 candidates that are going to primary these Republicans or anybody that voted for the big, beautiful bill, each of those candidates has to raise $5,000. Each of those, then you have to also have some type of nomination convention, right? Where you're putting these candidates up and saying, here it is. There's no, I don't think Elon knows what it takes to form a new party. I literally don't. I don't really think he knows because, again, you have to have the 14 to 20 candidates. You have to raise $5,000. You have to have a nomination convention / assembly. You have to have an assembly. The FEC requires an assembly. Hence, that's why the Justice for All Party is having our convention June 10th, 11th, and 12th of 2026. You have to have some type of nomination convention or committee or meeting. It's required, right? Given the fact that Trump can't run for president anymore, Elon Musk wants to attempt to get a third party started, hoping to get anyone who's tired of the two-party control. See, you would think that I'd be all for this, but I'm going to explain why I think this is a joke. Who out here is a fan of Elon Musk? Who is this person that thinks, yep, Elon does it? It's not like he's saying, you know what, we should solidify Medicare. We should solidify Medicaid. We should increase funding for SNAP. No, this guy wants to cut everything. Who out there? He's only going to appeal to, like, basically what I call the Libertarian Party. They already exist. So maybe his better bet would be, hey, let me go through and run more libertarians, because libertarians, y'all know, they believe in cutting them social services. They want to cut everything, right? They want to cut SNAP. They want to cut Medicare. They're not for Medicare for all. They're not for increase. They just want to cut every social services they possibly can. That's what they want to do. So it would make more sense to me that if he would just work within the Libertarian Party. This is definitely an ego thing, right? This is an ego thing. Ego. If he were sincere about it, he would be doing just what the Justice for All Party is doing now. No, we meet every month to discuss what we're going to do. We have committees, we have subcommittees, we're holding forums, we're out here trying to recruit candidates. What does he has to offer except for money? What is he offering that is just so dynamic and so exemplary that people are going to be like, yep, I want to run with that party. Now, ballot access, he's not going to have any problems. No problems. I want to know, what does it take to run for? Okay, let's see. FEC. I'm typing in FEC requirements to run for Congress. So, to run for Congress, and this is all 50 states. They assign a number. Yeah, they got a whole bunch of things that they do. You got to, like I said, this isn't making sense here because they are talking about register as a candidate. An individual running for House, Senate, or President becomes a candidate when they raise or spend more than $5,000. As I already said that. In a contribution or expenditures. Candidates must register using a statement of candidacy, which they call Form 2, within 15 days of becoming a candidate. A candidate, including an incumbent, must file a statement of candidacy for each election cycle in which they are a candidate. But it doesn't say, yeah, this is just not clear to me, but yeah, let's just say thank you. It's his ego. Yep. Let go of my ego. Yeah, ego. Hey, Nicholas, how are you? I haven't seen you in a while or talked to you in a minute. It's good to see you. This is just an ego thing. Like, if he were really forming a real party that said, hey, let's get rid of money in politics. Let's, secure the social safety net. I'm all for it. This nitwit talk about, hey, let's cut Medicare. Oh, no, it not gonna work. At best, he would literally have to start looking for candidates now, right? Because you have what? How many days until? How many days until midterm elections? There are 479 days until the midterm elections. So you've got to get out there. You got to get a website. Well, first you got to identify the candidate. The candidate has to raise $5,000. Then the candidate has to promote him or herself. Then they have to get like volunteers. They had to get all those things. He not going to make it yet. This idea, I think, is going to last about 6 months. He's not serious. This is just my ego. I'm going to boast my ego. I got butt hurt. Trump lied to me. He said this. Now, keep in mind, he's not talking about stopping the government contracts that he got. He just wants to cut all social services. It would be better and smarter to work with like a libertarian party. That would probably be the smarter bid. But he's not going to do it. He's not serious. At best, the best thing that we could hope for, if you're on the opposite side of him, is that he'll run Republicans and take away like maybe 5 to 6% of the vote. But I don't even think he's serious about that. I literally don't. This guy is not serious. This is not a serious party. If you want a serious party that is serious about destroying the two-party system. Join the Justice for All party. Justiceforall.us, justiceforall.us. This man ain't serious. He's just putting money into anything, just throwing stuff at the wall and hoping it sticks. Boy, bye. Bye. Go away. Go back to wherever it was. Run TikTok into the ground. Run Twitter into the ground. Keep that up. But guys, I'm gonna stop talking because I've been on here an hour and 11 minutes. I'll see you all next week. My big announcement. So I have a big announcement. I have decided that I am going to restart my event planning business called Gala Vibe. I've been tottering with this for a long time. I will stick to corporate event planning. That'll be a personal project of mine. I enjoy the process. I enjoy the planning. I'll talk about it a little bit here and there. I think there's a website that's going to be coming in the next couple of weeks. So that's the big announcement. I feel my blood sugar is kind of going low again. So trying to make this as quick as possible so that I can get that taken care of. But Gala Vibe is coming back. So I'll kind of let you all know what my YouTube page is. Yes, I will have a Twitter account. I know I don't really want to, but I'll do all that. There is a Gala Vibe Facebook page already up. Maybe we'll put that in the descriptions next week, but that's the big announcement. So yay to me for bringing it back. I'll talk about that a little bit by little bit. But guys, I'm going to get off of here so I can go get myself taken care of. Because if I don't take care of me, then there won't be a Gala Vibe and there won't be a podcast. So I will see you all next Saturday where I'm either going to do, no, let me backtrack that. I'll see you Thursday. Thursday, I'm interviewing Kayla Fitzgerald. She'll be talking about Cop City. So I'll see you Thursday at 6. Maybe I'll talk a little bit more about Gala Vibe then, but maybe not. But I'll see you Thursday at 6 o'clock p.m. I'll talk to you all later. I'm going to do the outro, get some sugar in me so I can take care of myself. I'll see you all when I see you. Have a great week. See you all Thursday. Bye-bye.